Hello and welcome back to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I'm going over some more things in Deepwoken lore and in-game which make no sense. Before we start, make sure to check out my new second channel, which will be used for stream-related content on Twitch and non-Roblox content in general, if you just want to watch me be a funny guy with more creative content. I'll leave the link to that in the description and comment section down below, and the name is Raycon Live. Anyway, let's get into it. Deepwoken's architecture is bad. First of all, there are absolutely no working doors except the bell ones. The doors in this game are decorative. They stay open 24/7 even though Etris has so much crime that they had to close their banks due to high crime rates and just now recently open them up. Yet shops and houses can leave their doors open all day like it's Canada? I'm not buying that. Also, what's with all the steel piping in Etris? It leads nowhere, comes from nowhere, and does nothing. I guess you could say it might be structural stability stands that look like piping, but then why is this one on this house floating? Make it make sense, Etris. Fix your architecture. Okay, before anyone gets mad at the title at this point, in lore, Etrians are supposed to be very racist. They don't like non-Etrians and other races, and they especially hate Celtors. In a real-life court of law, racial bias can be seen, but not in Deepwoken. If I'm Etrian and I attack a Celtor, the guards attack me, when in reality, based on Deepwoken's lore, the Etrian guards should realize I'm an innocent civilian officer, and that the Celtor I randomly attacked with my bladed weapon wouldn't stop resisting and was making me feel really threatened. Also, Etris has more guards than civilians, which is strange. It's just kind of like they employed martial law and there's nobody living in the city. So can we get more Etrian racism, Archmage? Yeah, just make that in lore. Just put that in the game. Why do the bandits not fear me? I literally one-tap their friend in front of them and they continue running at me. If you see me and you are a bandit, why are you running at me? I have a blindfold on and I'm staring right at you with a sigil on my forehead, with a floating lantern, and flames resonating from my body. The bandits realistically should fear me on sight and choose not to mess with me, but instead they choose to run at me and fight me to their death, which it's going to be death, because I can kill them in one punch. If you see someone die in one punch, are you going to start running towards the person that just murdered your friend with one singular punch? No. Can we give some like fear AI to the NPCs in this game, and then like you could like make them surrender, or you could kill them and get like negative rep, or make them surrender, get positive rep? That would be a cool little interaction that they could add to the game. Potions have a lot of things wrong with them. First of all, if I throw a glass bottle at you and it shatters, covering you in mysterious liquid, that mysterious liquid is the second of your concerns because you are bleeding now. The glass shattered and cut you up, and the mysterious liquid is now seeping into your body through your wounds. Secondly, why are the potions so bad? Like, is there any lore reason why I can't just bottle up mustard gas and throw it at people? I want mustard gas in Deepwoken. Let me make mustard gas in Deepwoken. And let me just have like AoE smoke that I can throw. And then if you step in it, you take damage, so then you could use that to your own PvP advantage. Or you could get a gas mask and not die to your own smoke. It would add like a cool little layer of you can use potions defensively or offensively or smartly, and this game just doesn't have that, so why not just add mustard gas? This game has a lot of weird parrying and dodging, but first of all, let's just talk about flame blind. I can't turn around and dodge it and not get blinded, right? I could not be looking at the thing meant to blind me, but if I dash to the left while still looking at it, I dodge the AoE flashbang. How does this make sense, Deepwoken devs? That's not all though. The mantras sing and taunt are basically just imbuing your voice with the power of the song. Tell me why I can block and dodge those. Can Deepwoken players block sound waves using their weapons now? And there's even more dumb parrying when you look at the enemies, okay? I can parry 2 tons of crush force coming down on me when Etheron tries to throw bones at me. But on the other hand, I can't parry a weak-ass Sharko kick. Also, just back to the whole like imbuing your body with the song thing. Glare? You are parrying someone looking at you funny. You are literally parrying a dirty look. That's what happens every time you parry glare. Someone looks at you and then you just parry their dirty look. They look at you a little bit funny, you deflect it with a sword. The guns in this game do not make sense. Why do rifles do less damage than the dragoons? Let me show you a rifle bullet. Now let me show you a pistol bullet. Which do you think is going to hurt worse? The bigger bullet, right? Apparently not in Deepwoken. Dragoons and normal guns deal more damage than rifle-type weapons, which should be using better ammo and shooting with more force, which is the entire point of having an elongated barrel. Yet, the weapons do less damage. And I guess you could argue, oh, well, not every attack from a rifle is the shot because you also have the rifle butts. Okay, then why does every hit do the same amount of damage in the combo? You're telling me that my bullets are so weak they're doing the same damage as my rifle butts? Make it make sense, Deepwoken devs. This isn't really a problem with the game or the lore, but the devs are deaf. They don't listen. It took 3 years to implement banks. They've literally been requested since the game first came out, and it took 3 years to add. Secondly, keybinds. There is no way to edit your keybinds, and people have also been requesting this since the game came out. So I guess in another 3 years, you can change parry from F to your middle mouse button, and you guys can enjoy your macros. Some of the mantra paths make sense, right? Black flame is shadow and fire, so you turn the fire black with the shadow, boom. Blue lightning, it's already a thing, same with blue flames, right? So white wind also makes sense because wind is kind of depicted as white even though you can't really see it. It's kind of just like commonly depicted in media as white or green. But red ice, it's not even an attunement hybrid. Tell me what the fuck you're doing to make red ice. The only thing I could think of is to make red ice by cutting yourself and throwing your blood and freezing it. That's stupid and wasteful and will make you anemic, and 2, you're going to spread diseases, you disgusting man. At this point, the mantra color paths are just being added to put something into the game to pad out the content section, because this one doesn't even make sense. Why is red ice in the game? It doesn't make sense to have red ice. You could have done like, I don't know, purple ice. Yeah, you could have done like purple ice, and it would have been like, oh, well, maybe the ice is being made from the argon and neon in the air or something. But you guys added red ice because you thought red was a cool color. The technological differences in this game are actually insane. We go from Etris, who has foot soldiers and katanas, to Hive, who canonically have flying steampunk mechs that fire plasma guns, and massive Gundam robots that can solo entire armies, and one-to-one mechanically accurate recreations of monsters like the Sharko. So, why? Like, that's just crazy. Why doesn't Chaser just rip all the blood out of our bodies? I've heard the argument that he can't use live blood, which is why he doesn't use his own, but this isn't really a senseful argument. To make blood projectiles, first of all, he would have to harden the blood through clotting, which would mean it is still live blood. And on top of that, if he used his own blood, he would probably get anemic and kill himself, so it isn't a good idea. Realistically, Chaser should be able to just straight up drain you, pause, and kill you instantly. But he doesn't for some reason, and I think he really should. That would make the boss fight a lot more fair and balanced, because it's so easy right now. Okay, Fireproof Trees. We just need to go over this. So in lore, a Felinor Hive Lord loved using Flame Charm, and was like a huge arsonist who would just set things on fire. He eventually started setting the Hive trees on fire, and in response to this, they didn't tell him to stop setting their homes on fire. Instead, they made fireproof, genetically modified trees. Which brings me back to the technology argument, because why does Hive have such advanced technology to the point where they can make fireproof trees that are still made out of wood through gene altering? How did you make the trees fireproof? What does that even mean? The owls don't really make sense because blind seers and vision shapers are unable to see through the illusions that they make to project their weird bodies. Despite the fact that blind seers technically aren't seeing, they're sensing, and vision shapers have the abilities to make and see through the same illusions that owls make. So why can't they see the true form of owls? Doesn't make sense. Why do Silent Heart users have ether? Oh, sorry. Ether. Ether. You guys want to hear me say ether? You guys like when I say ether? Anyway, you guys could just change the color of the ether bar and call it stamina or something. On top of that, why can Silent Heart users get bells? They're supposed to be unable to use the song, which is why you don't get mantras, but you can obtain a bell, which is literally a manifestation of the song. The entire point of Silent Heart is that your heart denies the song, which is why you can't use mantras. But also, why do you not get any mantra resistances? But then Dawnwalker, the oath which lets you breakdance, counters Shadow? Make it make sense, devs. Yeah, there's literally just no lore for Link Strike. There's like, they touch Purple Rock and teleport, and that's literally it. There's no explanation of them. There's no explanation of why they exist, how they exist. They just touch Purple Rock and teleport. Okay, so there's a lot of really dumb shit to unpack here with Voidwalkers, but my personal theory is that whenever Voidwalkers attack you, it's because you're having a schizophrenia episode. Voidwalker base is literally just a dream, right? It's not a real place. It's kind of like a manifestation in the head of Voidwalkers. Schizophrenia. Secondly, whenever you kill a Voidwalker, it doesn't let you see their body even though you killed them, meaning their body disappeared. So they might not even be real. So what if Voidwalkers are just violent manifestations of your schizophrenia coming to attack you, kind of like the insanity demon from Rogue Lineage? That's my theory. Yeah, Deepwoken doesn't really have physics because jumping off a boat makes you immediately fly off of it. That means there is no inertia in the Deepwoken world. Can we get some inertia in Deepwoken? Can we get the inertia update? Damage in this game is inconsistent. If you get uppercut so hard you get sent 10 feet into the air, you are not surviving. You also aren't surviving if someone takes a huge hunk of metal out of their pocket dimension and slams you with it. You also aren't surviving Etheron's God Laser because you blocked a small portion of it with your tiny sword. And honestly, you're just not surviving like 90% of the attacks in this game. I know it's a video game, but can we just make guns one shot? Can we just add a Glock 43 to the game, right? And it turns Deepwoken into an FPS. You stick your arms out, bang, you just kill someone. His body drops. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you know any more things that don't make sense about Deepwoken, then let me know in the comment section down below. Also, Chivabouth, the moderator for Jujutsu Infinite, needs to be demoted. Like, actually, he's one of the worst mods I've ever seen in my entire life. He doxed me in chat, leaking my address, and proceeded to spam it in chat when I asked him to please not do that. Then he sent my address to a dark web group chat that got my entire family murdered and killed. We don't need him demoted from moderator, we need him killed. I am paying $69.42 million to whoever can kill him. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and kill Chivabouth. Goodbye. If you want to support me, you can buy a YouTube membership. I love you all. Have a great day. Go kill Chivabouth.
Op 4, last operator standing. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.